Hey everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card using our floral border cling stamp with the coordinating die. Since I'm going to be embossing today, I'm just going to prep my A2 size cardstock panel with some anti-static powder tool, and then I'm going to stamp my floral border stamp onto that panel with some embossing ink, and then I'm just going to spoon on some of our rose gold embossing powder. After I'm done with this process, I'm just going to hit the entire panel with my heat gun. Before you apply the heat gun to the panel, just heat it up for about 10 to 15 seconds to minimize warping of your card panel. Next, I'm going to take the largest die in our newly released smaller double stitch rectangle die set, and this is just going to add stitching to the edges of my card panel. It's going to cut out the panel to a size that is slightly smaller than A2 size, which is 4¼ by 5½. So this smaller die set does coordinate well with the original larger double stitch dies. I also die cut the inside of our floral border with the coordinating die that we just released, and I die cut everything at the same time so that I didn't have to run my panel through my die cutting machine more than once. So after I finish die cutting, I'm just going to get right to coloring my peonies. I'm coloring with some Zig markers today. Today I have the sugared almond pink, which is my lighter shade, and then I also have my peach pink, which is my darker shade. So I go in with the lighter shade first, and then I add the darker shading, and then I blend that peach pink out with the lighter sugared almond pink, and then I get a really nice blended beautiful peony as my end result. And I'm going to color in all of my florals the same way. So while I color, I'm just going to turn on some music, and I'll be back after I finish coloring. coloring in my floral border panel, I'm going to mask off another A2 size card panel with some micro pour tape because I'm going to be doing some blending and I want to make sure that my edges stay nice and white. I'm going to use my die cut floral border panel as a guide to show me exactly where I want to end the blending up that window. I only want the blending to go up about halfway, and you can see me go back and forth as I put the panel back on top of the blended panel to see exactly where the shading stops. I use our Caribbean turquoise and our lofty mint ink to get that minty blended look, and I'm blending all of that color on with a stencil brush. After I'm satisfied with the intensity of my minty blending, I'm just going to take off the masking tape or the micro pour tape that I use to mask my card panel. I'm just going to gently peel it off, making sure that the edges stay nice and clean. And then I'm going to take the large die and our double stitched large rectangle dies to add some stitching to the edges of that blended panel. Next, I'm just going to temporarily adhere that die cut floral panel onto the blended panel because I want to make sure that I heat emboss my sentiment right in the center of that panel. And I'm just going to rose gold heat emboss the sentiment. This sentiment that I'm using today comes from our Haute wedding dress stamp set. This card is going to go to one of my sister's friends who's getting married. So after I finish stamping the sentiment in some embossing ink, I'm going to gently peel away that floral border panel. Now you can see that some of the blended panel got raised up from the adhesive, but don't worry about it because it's going to be covered up by the floral panel. After I finish rose gold heat embossing the sentiment, I'm going to adhere that blended panel onto a top folding A2 size card base, and then I'm going to pop up the floral panel right above that blended panel. Next, I'm going to take this butterfly from our Beautiful Butterflies 1 stamp set, and I'm going to rose gold heat emboss and color this butterfly in with some yellow and orange zig markers. Our Beautiful Butterflies 1 stamp set comes with a separate stamp where you can stamp the inside portion of this butterfly's wings, but I chose to manually color the butterfly because I wanted the coloring and blending to look similar to the blending of the florals in our border panel. After I finish coloring in my butterfly, I fussy cut the entire thing with my scissors. Now there are dies that will be coming out for this set and many other sets in about a couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that, but for now I will have to fussy cut. So after I cut everything out, I'm just going to pop it up next to my sentiment with some foam tape, but instead of a single layer, I'm using a double layer of foam tape so that it comes up higher than my border panel. Next, I'm just going to embellish my card with some glass slipper sequins, and the card is now complete. I hope you guys enjoyed today's card and video. I thought it was a really pretty card to make, and I haven't just straight up colored with some zig markers in a really long time. I've been doing a lot of watercoloring, so I wanted to just play with the zig markers without any painting today. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.